Okay, everyone. I don't know if you can all hear me, but I'd just like to welcome Hannah M from Microsoft. She's going to talk about health and well-being using Teams.
Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank you for having me in this really fantastic digital festival that you're running. So my name's Hannah M. I'm a customer success manager for Microsoft, and my role is to support businesses and authorities in London with the enablement of using Microsoft tools with a focus on Office 365. So looking at how we support you with getting the most value out of using them and finding the most relevant business use cases for you to use the tools. So something I wanted to talk to you a bit about today is around mental well-being. So I'm going to run through a session and talk to you about some of the features that we have in the products that will help you just with the way that you're working and planning your times. So feel free to drop any questions and I will be more than happy to answer them after the session, and I will be able to share with you some of this deck with you in case you're interested in finding out more. So really, I think all of us have felt the big changes lately with the ways that we work, especially with the working from home scenario with COVID-19, and a little bit of issue, a little bit of personal time has kind of really changed in how we work now. So it's very difficult sometimes to manage continuous interruptions. I know I really struggle with this at the moment. I don't really have much. I don't have much time to manage between meetings, whereas before it was a little bit different because I would be traveling and I would be able to wander from different meeting rooms. So really looking at how to stop that, and also just around the boundaries of personal life and work life. I'm working from my study at the moment, so really just how do I stop myself from being able to have disruptions from personal things that are happening, such as my 18-month son who's downstairs. So what I'm going to share with you is some insights around the tools, how we can help you with the ways that you work, and hopefully this will give you some inspiration around not only just the technology, but the way that you kind of work as a team and with your colleagues and the culture of work. So these are the things we're going to cover off. We're going to talk about being mindful of you, mindful of me, mindful of others, how we are keeping connected and managing tasks, getting into the zone, really, how we can enable that focus and minimizing distractions. But most of all, just how do we switch off at the end of the day, where we've been having our brains, utilized so much with colleagues and work and projects, and how do we actually find a way to walk away with that, walk away from that at the end of the day, and find time to relax. So these are the hints and tips that I'm going to share with you right now, and just really understanding the impact of not having any downtime. So there are some really scientific links that prove what the impact is on having no downtime. So I know from my own way I work that I'm not able to be as innovative on the way that I perform in tasks. My creativity is very small and limited. So if I'm burning out for the entirety of the week, then I'm not able to kind of be my best self at work. So as much as I'd love to get everything completed by the end of the week, it's just as important to find time in your calendars just to refresh yourself, so that when you're performing the tasks that you have, you're able to really bring your best self to work and be your A game. So Microsoft Teams has some great features around how to use the video capabilities. So when you look at working flexibly, you would have probably been in offices face-to-face with your colleagues or customers. And now with the video capabilities, you have features that allow you to bring everyone in the video call into one screen. So this just really helps people to have like a visual and see everyone at the same time, so that you can focus on everyone that's in the meeting. Setting your own boundaries. I think this one is really difficult. At least it was at the beginning, because I used to have all of this, all of my apps set up on my mobile device, and if I'm not able to stop myself from being distracted from these, then it's very difficult to ignore the messages, the Teams chats, and the emails that come in, especially when you're interested in working with what you're seeing, and you're trying to help your colleagues as much as possible. So the features that I use around this just to stop me from delving into work after hours is the quiet hours and the do not disturb. So you can use this in the mobile device in Teams. The feature in settings allows you to then schedule time in the day of when you are switching off and on, when after 7 p.m, for example. If you don't want to receive any notifications, this will stop you from receiving anything. And you can also select your days of work. So obviously weekends, you can stop yourself from having any notifications at all. So you really are able to just minimize any work distractions. No hello is a term that we do talk about, which is about the @ mentions that you have inside of Microsoft Teams. So you are able to obviously start an instant chat message with colleagues, very similar the way that you would use WhatsApp, for example. And what a lot of people noticed is that you kind of sometimes just go around in circles. You have people reaching out to you saying, hello, and you might be busy or in a meeting, and then you respond to say hi, and then this chain of conversation just takes place throughout the 24-hour, 48-hour period. And I think the most helpful thing is if you just get to the point and share the ask of what you're trying to achieve. So we just put in a notification into Teams where you're able to put a update on your profile. And this is a personalized message that you can just add. And the most common one that people use is just @mention me, which means you'll get a notification, but also just to add in a message for your reply. So another fantastic tip where people may be going into more active presentation modes is to use a presenter coach. So there is a feature that's built into PowerPoint Online, which allows you to practice, and using the AI capabilities, it's able to listen and record your presentation, and also give you some analytics on how you have done. So it will give you stats around the time that you've taken, the speed in which you talk, the phrases, etc. So it's a great way just to have a bit of a practice, and obviously just get that summary back without having to maybe call on colleagues to give your feedback. And then the tracking the well-being, so the analytics that is part of Office 365 allows you to get insights into the way that you work. So this is all personal information that it's able to understand from the ways that you work. It picks up on the behaviors around your diary management, whether you're working out of hours, how much time you have off that you're not, in meetings, and it will give you some analytics around this so that you can understand your work patterns. It also makes some recommendations. So if it recognizes that you're back to back, you're not giving yourself any time to do some admin, it will automatically ask you, would you like to put in some focus time into your diary? So it's a great way to utilize and get some insights into the way that you're working. So moving forward to mindful of others. So how we work obviously is impacting the way others are, and just being mindful of these things are just some tips and tricks around how to manage those patterns that we work in. So out of hours emails, I think we're all completely guilty of doing it. but in reality, you know, the other person that receives that email, you know, it might not be their working hours. It might be quite distracting for them, and they might feel that they're in a position now to reply. We've all got flexible working with the ways that, you know, COVID has impacted us. You know, there are people that sometimes need to schedule their working hours around how the lifestyles are impacted now. And I'm actually having this in the way that I'm working now. You know, there are hours that I switch on at night just to catch up after my son's gone to sleep. So really just thinking when I'm emailing, you know, a colleague, you know, I don't want them to see this and feel that they have to respond. So the way that I manage this is with the options in Outlook to actually stop the emails from being sent, so delayed send. And the analytics gives the insights around this to understand kind of your habits and make some really great tailored suggestions. So this is just a visual on the delay sending option in Outlook, so that when the email when you press send, you know, you can schedule that email to get received by your colleague at, say, 8:30 in the morning, so that you know that you couldn't potentially distract them from their personal time. So another thing as well is just, you know, one of the ways which I just touched on around flexible working, where people may have to be doing things like school runs. They may not be able to join all of the meetings live. So recording meetings is a great way that you can share that information, so that the people that can't join the call are able to watch back and listen and, you know, get as much insights that they need onto the sessions. So this is something that we do on any types of group sessions that we know people may not be able to be present in. And just looking at inclusivity around all the voices being heard. So the raising hand feature in the meetings is a great way to give people an opportunity to ask a question without having to feel that they have to butt in, or, you know, maybe talk over people that might be louder than them. We've all got different personalities in the teams. So some people are a lot louder, a lot more quicker to talk than others, and it just means that everyone gets the option to have a say in some of the feedbacks that are being discussed. So keeping connected. We had lots of conversations when we went into lockdown the first time about how to keep the teams connected and not to lose the morale. And we talk a bit about the scenario a lot around the water cooler moments, where you'd be in the office and you just huddle around the water cooler or coffee machine or whatever, and you'd catch up with people and start talking about things that you aren't really talked about formally through work channels. And these types of conversations can be really valuable and really help with some of the innovations that you do in your jobs. So what we did is we took this scenario into a kind of virtual way of working and moved it to a channel, a conversation chat inside of the Teams platform. So we have the groups for my team that I work in as members of this. We called it chit chat, just so it wasn't too kind of work formal, and we try not to talk about anything that's too worky here. So this is an area that we share really nice insightful moments around conversations that we're having, and anything else that we talk about goes into like a formal Teams channel. And then the social connections. So we really just thought of ways that we could keep connected virtually again, but actually getting to speak to people obviously not face to face, but being able to interact with people's faces. So just to bring up morale, and also we wormed it in with a way to get outside, and I think this was the best way. So we created a walk and talk session into the diary, and this was for the entire team. It just meant that we all got to go outside of our houses where we were spending most of our time, get some fresh air and get to catch up with colleagues. Again, non-work related, just chit chat, so anything top of mind that we could share, you know, what people have been up to. But it's a great way. We all look forward to these sessions. Not always getting out as much as I wish I hoped, but they've been fantastically received, and it was really noticed when they fell out the diaries, because it was originally done with just a few sessions, so and it became very, very popular. So I know that it's caught on amongst most areas inside of Microsoft. So just talking about managing time and tasks. So I use a app to help manage the tasks, and this integrates into the analytics. So part of the AI technology is able to understand if some of the actions in Outlook should be managed as a task, whether you've asked someone to share a document with you, or you have to follow up with somebody on a specific topic. So what it can do is it can mark the information in your Outlook as a task, and then from your to-do list, which is the task manager, you are able to go through and keep track of anything that you need to focus on and complete. One of the great ways that this is also managed is that it incorporates the focus time element with it as well. So if you've got 5 tasks in your to-do list, it will make a recommendation that you're going to set some focus time aside to get these tasks completed. So scheduling time to review, email, to learn, and just getting everything done. And I touched on this before, but booking time out in your diaries to focus. So I've got some time scheduled that I use daily to make sure that all the tasks that are happening and building up throughout the day, I'm able to start working on them without ending up working late through the evening, which was easily done before. So really just making sure that those times are blocked out in your diary, and that no one else is able to distract you from that time. So the insights that you get in my analytics will help you understand your working patterns. It's broken down into 3 different themes. You've got focus, wellbeing, and network, and there are different elements that show you your working patterns, so that you'll be able to understand trends. And the great thing about this is that it gives you the option then to manage time for your weeks that are coming, plan your weeks, block out time automatically with focus time, and plan in time for specific meetings that you need to manage. This one's a very useful tip that I love, and I know of several other people that use this now as well. This just helps alleviate some time in your day-to-day diaries to give you a bit of a comfort break. It can be very difficult when you're having back-to-back meetings just to find some time in between, and meetings can run up to the minute sometimes. So yeah, it can be very difficult even just to catch a glass of water. So there is an option that in Outlook you can change the default for the length of the diaries for how long those meetings are. So by default, usually you set meetings by 30 minutes or by 1 hour. If you change the defaults, this will shorten it by 5 minutes and 10 minutes for an hour. So this gives you a 25-minute meeting if it's set by 30, and you'll have a 50-minute meeting if it's set as an hour. So a great tip just to give yourself a few minutes back between meetings that you've got scheduled throughout the day. So managing tasks, I mentioned the to-do list. This one for me is a huge win. A lot of people I know also use it just to stay on top of on top of the tasks. It integrates with Outlook, so if you have emails come through that you flag as a follow-up, it automatically gets added in your to-do view. And the same with Planner as well, which is an app that's available inside of your Microsoft Teams platform. Anything that's added here, whether a task is assigned to you, or if you have just managed some of your day-to-day tasks with that, it will all appear in the same view, and you're able to go through and add updates on that. Again, the My Analytics gives you some time to manage your suggestions. So if you're able to see some follow-ups that are in need of completing, you're able to go in and just view that. So the Insights is appearing inside of Outlook, and when you open the Insights button, it will start to automatically generate a list of all of your suggested tasks and follow-ups, so that you're able to go through and just double check that you haven't missed something in your task list, or missed something that you are planning to do as a follow-up. And getting into the zone, so this one can be difficult sometimes. I have a young toddler in the house, and I share a study as well with my other half, so it can be difficult to kind of knuckle down and concentrate sometimes, but these are some tips on how to do that. So looking at how to prevent interruptions, so the do not disturb feature in Microsoft Teams just means that you won't have any messages, any prompts getting you distracted from your task at hand. There's also a focused assist option, Microsoft inside Windows 10. So this will create a more of a richer experience with Do Not Disturb. So it will also interact with disabling any of your Outlook notifications, as well as anything else that you've got set to notify you on. Improving the focus around the immersive reader. So this is a feature that's available in most of the Office Edge and Teams products. If you prefer to read things in just a more basic text so that you can follow it without having any blur, any distractions from the browser, you can enable the immersive reader. There are some great features in Immersive Reader as well. It allows you to change the spacing or change the text size and colours, just to help with the accessibility features around that. So the blurred background is a great way to just manage any distractions when you're on video calls. So this is the perfect example, which I'm sure you're familiarized with, but having a blurred background, which also can be used with the different themes as well. It just means that if you have anything happening in the background, it doesn't take anyone else's attention away when you're inside another meeting. And just moving any unnecessary distractions. And this is just a personal thing that I've made an effort to do, which is moving any of the apps that have notifications away from my homepage on my phone. I'm easily into situations sometimes in the evenings where I'm sat down and I end up just going on a browse, scrolling through things, but it's just too inviting when I've got the numbers next to those apps to see how many notifications are coming in. And again, set up focus and quiet hours. So this was one of the features that we talked about earlier. So switching off, just trying to find some time in order to give yourself back some time for energizing yourself so that you can perform with more energy and be more innovative at work, setting out of office and stop syncing anything on your holidays. And again, a personal empowerment to stop by removing work apps from your mobile. I try and always do this when I'm on any types of leave. So enabling as well the quiet hours, which is the other one that we looked at earlier. So this just gives you the ability to restrict any notifications coming out of hours. So these are the top tips, and there are some great resources here. So these I will be sharing with your team in order to share out after the event. And I'm not sure if we're jumping to a QA now, but we have got 10 minutes, so I'm happy to support that.
No, thanks for that, Hannah. That was really useful. So yeah, are you going to share all that information with us, and we'll distribute that after the event?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, that's brilliant. Sorry for the technical hitches at the beginning. So
no problem.
Okay, I think this will be recorded so people can view it afterwards.
Okay.
So we'll arrange that. But no, thanks very much for coming in today. We really appreciate it.
No problem. That's been great to chat. Speak to you later. Bye-bye.